Nice to meet you.
Just want to say I'm a long time of fan of everything EOS.
Hello.
Awesome. I'm actually glad to be on here talking to you guys because I think we've kind of touched. So I think I talked to someone from your team on Telegram at some point.
Yeah, I think I
but
sent a message.
I'm here to listen. I want to know more.
Yeah. So I'll just do a quick intro, more than the ones I already did. So Switcheo again, they're launching on EOS. Originally, they were a exchange focused on Neo. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we're the first DEX on Neo.
Perfect. Right.
Yeah, we
And why
launched.
don't you guys just introduce yourself? What do you do? What's going on?
Right. Okay. So I'm Jack. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer of Switcheo. We're the first DEX on Neo. We launched on Neo about in late March last year, and then we launched on Ethereum in late last year. And now we're launching on EOS. So this is our third blockchain. Really excited to be launching on EOS. So recently we also launched an atomic swap between Neo and Ethereum, and that's a trading pair on our exchange currently. So when we launch on EOS, we'll also be integrating atomic swaps really soon. So yeah.
Cool.
Do you have a
Yeah,
timeline
so-
of when that EOS launch is, or is it?
It's in about 2 weeks. We're planning
Okay.
to launch it in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Mau Hernandez. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of Obolus. And Obolus is a research and development company on blockchain, specifically on EOS. And I could describe the company in many ways. For example, we have a strong background in finance, capital markets. We are past researchers, PhDs, postdocs, and everything. But the way I want to describe Obolus tonight, and I say tonight because we are on Asia, so it's Monday here already. But the way I want to describe our company is we managed to snatch the biggest Neo decentralized exchange now to EOS. So we're really proud to do that, and we're also really happy to partner up with Switcheo. That these guys are amazing. So yeah, that's Obolus in like 30 seconds.
Very nice. Very nice. So, what's the deal? Why are you guys launching on EOS? And you already have some partners lined up. One of them was actually in the audience tonight, or on screen tonight. So yeah, tell us what's going on. What made you launch on EOS?
Right. So we decided to launch at EOS because we were initially looking for a new blockchain to launch on, and then we met Mao at one of these events that we went for at the start of this year, actually. So we met with Mao. We realized that they had a really good team and really technical team that's working on the EOS DEX. So yeah, we really clicked off, and we've been working with them ever since.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, from my point of view, sorry if I may interrupt. I just want to tell a really quick story. So when we were having like this coffee back in Singapore in January, I was showing our prototype, right? So Ivan also and Jack, Ivan the CEO, and then Jack, the three of us, we were talking, and then I had a simple prototype of our exchange, and then as I was clicking, and like in a matter of like seconds, everything was settled after exchange. Ivan and Jack eyebrows, they were like raised so much, and they were like, "Holy shit, that's real!" And then since then they got really excited, and I think that was one of the moments they realized they should be on EOS.
Very nice. Yeah, the technology. I mean, like it started with BitShares, right? Then like built that blockchain to be exchange. Like, it only makes sense that the architecture would fit so well with what you're trying to do, which is build a decentralized exchange. So the question I have is, obviously there's a lot of competition coming. You have EOS, Bitfinex launching EOS Finex. You have Nudex already, which is an established player. There's so many different exchanges coming out. What sets your exchange apart from the other ones?
Right. So how we see ourselves differentiate from the many other exchanges on the many rather decentralized exchanges that are actually launching is that we focus a lot on the interoperability between different blockchains and how we can connect the different blockchains together. Because the issue with decentralized exchanges is that usually it just exists on only a single blockchain, and that's kind of like it's kind of lame if you are only able to trade tokens from a single blockchain. Like the decentralized exchanges that we are used to, like IDEX or Ether on Ethereum. It's the issues with them is that you can't trade tokens that are launching on other chains. And as we see in 2019, we see a lot of ICOs that are pretty much launching new tokens on the newer blockchains. So EOS is one of these blockchains that we are seeing a lot of these new token launches, and that's why we're really excited to be launching on EOS as well.
Nice.
So is your settlement layer on all of the different chains you're sitting on? Like for all the atomic swaps, you have a settlement layer on EOS, a settlement layer still on Neo. How's that all work?
Yeah, that's correct.
So,
okay, I think
no,
Mal
go.
would be better.
No. Yeah, so the way it works is through atomic swap on the settlement layer. So each of the chains, they have their own smart contract. So we developed the EOS smart contract to do the atomic swaps, exchanging secrets with Ethereum and Neo, for example. And they have their own. So you can think Switcheo as a non-custodial exchange.
So is the answer both then? So the settlement's kind of happening on both. So you're handling. Are you like wrapping one of the tokens to move it to the other chain to like I guess run the contract on whatever chain? I'm not just sure of the architecture is my question.
So the way it works is I want to buy, let's say, Ethereum and EOS only without thinking the tokens for now. So me as a client, I want to buy EOS with 1 Ethereum. And then I sign a message saying, give me, I don't know, 500 EOS or something. I don't know how much would be. It would be like 200 EOS or something for 1 Ethereum. So I send this message, and I'm gonna that message is gonna be executed only if I receive 200 EOS on the other chain. So it's not really switching the tokens between chains. It's mostly switching tokens, meaning it's not getting Ethereum from EOS blockchain to Ethereum blockchain or the other way around. So the thing is, I'm gonna give Ethereum, and I'm gonna give only if, that's why it's called atomic swap, only if I receive the EOS. And that can happen with any of the tokens, right? Ethereum tokens, EOS tokens, and NEO tokens.
Is this similar to like what Binance is doing? I haven't looked too deep into.
Yeah, I didn't spend like too many hours, but as I was looking to, they just have their own single chain, and then they offer the tokens on that chain. So if you want to still buy Ethereum, you have to go to the centralized exchange. At this moment, I'm not sure what's the roadmap. Yeah, so that's one of the differences if you think between Binance and Switcheo is that you have to trade Binance tokens and only. While in Switcheo you can trade Ethereum, Neo, and now EOS, and if necessary, we're gonna have a Binance at some point. Who knows?
So with any decentralized exchange, they all have the same problem, and that's with liquidity. How do you generate liquidity on your decentralized exchange and compared to like all the other ones? Like Bancor has a special algorithm. Kyber Network just built their relay to EOS, and they have a special liquidity method that I'm not as familiar with. But what is your specialty, I guess, or plan of attack, I guess, for having massive liquidity for a decentralized exchange?
Right. So for decentralized exchanges, I mean, we do identify liquidity as an issue for decentralized exchanges in general. And what we do is we try to actively market make all the different pairs through a market making partner that we have. So one of the requirements that we do is that we actually require the projects that list on us to provide some sort of capital so that we can market make their pairs through our liquidity partners. Yeah. So
is a token able to create that liquidity? Like, would an independent party be able to create a liquidity pool on your network? So like on Bancor, I could set up a relay myself for some token I have no affiliation with just because I like the token and I want to create a relay for it on Bancor to add liquidity because I like the project. Is that possible with you guys, or do you have to work directly with the projects themselves?
Right, we're actually looking into something like that where you can contribute to the liquidity pools, but that would be that's still in discussions, and we would likely launch it somewhere at the end of this year. So currently, it's actually true. It's not really open yet, but as for the atomic swaps, we are actually actively working on a way that users can contribute to the liquidity pool. So the difference in our atomic swaps and our main exchange is that for the rest of the tokens that are chain specific, meaning like if it's an EOS token against EOS, those are those that we actively market make, and for the atomic swap pairs, for example, like Neo and ETH. Currently it's Switcheo and Ethereum. What we do is we have a pool of Ethereum and a pool of Switcheo tokens, and when users do the swap, it's more of like a Uniswap model where it just the price increases as more and more people buy, and we are looking into users being able to add to that liquidity pool.
Cool.
Do you have this might be a hard question to answer off the top of your head, but do you have an idea of daily active users on your exchange, or if you want to give a number of maybe like dollars transacted per day, just any figures, I guess, to indicate like the adoption of your exchange in its current form? I know it's probably very young,
Right.
but I'm just trying to get an idea of using it compared to some of the other ones, because there's always this liquidity issue, even with the established ones. Getting a lot of users to use them is always the hard part. People always are drawn to the more centralized exchanges like the Binances. But the decentralized ones have a lot of good features, like the biggest one owning your own keys. So what is your, I guess, daily activity like currently?
Right. Currently about 1,000 to 2,000, 1,000 to 2,000 users on our exchange. Our volume is
pretty
about
good.
100 to 200K every day.
That's awesome.
From our Neo and Ethereum pairs. We haven't launched an EOS yet, so that's. I guess you'll see on that one.
That'll go up. Yeah, I'm sure. That's the one thing. I guess we could talk about the EOS community a little bit. What was your experience like since joining the EOS community? Because I've heard this from every project that it's one of the most welcoming communities, and everyone is just jumping to answer your questions, taking your calls, and just really helping with the onboarding. Have you guys witnessed that firsthand? And can you speak to that at all? And who do you want to shout out as being very helpful to you?
Right. I guess the biggest shout out is to Mao. Like he kind of introduced us. Him and his team kind of introduced us to the EOS community to begin with. And when we started reaching out to projects for listing, I guess the EOS community has really been really welcoming, and has been one of the most welcoming communities as of the blockchains that we've onboarded. So as soon as we did the interviews about EOS, and when people found out that we were launching on EOS, a lot of the EOS projects actually reached out to them themselves and wanted to list on us. So I think that's really great. Like when we wanted to launch on Ethereum, we didn't have the same response, and now on EOS it's just really welcoming and really refreshing. Yeah.
Right. If I may jump in, I wanna just to give a shout out to some of the BPs that have been giving us some support. As Zach was mentioning, like the community is really supportive. So I think that some of the folks have been helping us a lot. Between the EOS Real, those guys are amazing. They're giving us like some good feedback. EOS 42, the guys also, they're developers. They are giving us some insight on development of the smart contract and some of the developments. And here back in Japan, we are always talk with the Jeddah guys. So I know they are not too active on the other side of the road, but here on Japan, we have like constant meetings with those folks, and they really help us. Like it's like you said, they always answer our calls. Like from the bottom to the top, they always like talking to us and giving us like some good feedback, what's happening within EOS, where to go. That's really interesting. So yeah, that's true. And yeah, so I think that's like the biggest stuff. And of course, the Telegram groups. There's so many. There's some of them I feel like family, especially the ones with developers. Those folks, it's like 24/7. There is someone talking about like deep, interesting topics about EOS, smart contract, running nodes. So mostly these guys are really welcoming on the community.
Very cool, very cool. Okay, so again, I'm gonna have to be the bad guy. We only every session on Crowdcast only lasts 2 hours, and we're approaching that mark right now. So just two last questions. How much capital are you looking to require to list a token? Do you have a listing fee, basically?
We don't charge listing fees, and the capital is actually for market making. So the project, I mean, we do like a 6-month kind of loan thing where the project loans us their tokens to actively market make, and then we do a profit sharing model based on that. But we can that part is totally negotiable, and we encourage projects to reach out to us on that.
Okay, cool. So that gets into the next question, which is if they make an EOS token, how do they get it listed on your exchange? So I guess just reach out to you on Telegram,
Yeah.
your email, that kind of stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Can I add
Yes.
a couple of information? I think we didn't mention that to trade on our coming up EOS exchange and also the whole Switcheo exchange, you don't have to know anything about EOS. You don't know how to stake. You don't have to know how to buy run. You don't have to own a EOS account. Like one of the reasons we got so excited working the Switcheo, that's the things they put on the table in the beginning. Look, the user experience is very important for us. So let's make sure that the user doesn't know what's going on in the background, right? So I think we are always some believers that blockchain is going to be successful and EOS itself will be successful if it becomes invisible. So we've hidden everything. So we are paying CPU for the user, we are paying RAM, we are creating accounts, and for the user, it's really just taking care of those 12 mnemonic words. Sorry, I don't know if it's 12 mnemonics, but anyway, taking care of his key on his computer and really handle everything on the background. So if you want to really have a smooth and really neat user experience when trading, feel like Binance or whatever centralized exchange you want to see, but having ownership of your tokens, I think Switcheo exchange is going to be really, really nice.
So that is the perfect wrap up. So drop the links in the below where people can find you. Leave your exchange link as well. So again, like I said, Crowdcast has a 2-hour limit. I'm gonna switch to the other session 2, and I'm gonna poll everyone in. And we're gonna have Stan Lammer up next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have the man himself, Stan. Okay, so I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Thank you, Mao. Thank you, Jack, for coming on.
Thank you.
I'll look forward to see you guys around in the EOS community.
Awesome.
Yeah.